Hello, welcome back to the channel, Teacups. My name is Takara Onay, or you can call me Teeks. It is whichever one that you would prefer to call me, okay? Welcome or welcome back. If you are new here, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the channel, okay? So today's topic, I've been wanting to talk about this topic for quite some time now. We're actually going to be talking about sustainable fashion versus fast fashion, okay? Or however way you want to put it, fast fashion versus sustainable fashion versus fast fashion, whichever one, okay? But that is going to be the topic for today. So this is a little fashion talk. This is kind of like, I've been wanting to talk about sustainable fashion on my channel for a long time. A lot of you guys have recommended this topic for a while, and I'm just now getting around to it because I wasn't aware that a lot of people don't know the difference between sustainable fashion and fast fashion and what sustainable fashion is. We all know what sustainability is. What is sustainability when it comes to fashion? So I'm going to be educating you on that today if you are not aware, okay? Bring it on in. You want to know what pisses me off? Because, you know, there's something that kind of pisses me off sometimes, okay? So do you want to know what pisses me off? How fast fashion workers are literally getting, let's drop the F-bomb, over, okay? Although I know we have this big love for fast fashion, and although fast fashion may provide consumers with like quick and easy access to affordable fashion, as somebody who is actually a garment constructor, I know how to design clothes, I know how to sew, I know how that whole kind of world works, especially when it comes to like the behind the scenes of like when somebody is in a manufacturing like place, behind the scenes of the labor practices and the people who are actually sewing these clothes by hand behind the scenes. I don't think a lot of people are aware of what's happening when it comes to fast fashion and how, yeah, you may be getting it for like the cheapest cost and you may be getting it quick, but there is somebody who is paying for that, over time. So even though you get that wardrobe, the benefits actually come at a cost. Someone else is paying the price, okay? And you have to sometimes put yourself in that shoes, because what if you were working in an unethical place, you're not getting paid what you deserve, just to push out all these types of clothes, and you know, you're trying to feed your family and things like that, and you're just in really messed up working environments. Like, put yourself in these people's shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we get all these really cool clothes really fast, really cheap, but it's, you know, the workers are paying the price. And I know everybody might agree, but that is what the comment section is for, okay? For you to voice your opinion on how you feel about this conversation. This is a no judgment free zone, so, you know, talk that talk in the comments, okay? If you don't agree, if you do agree, we want to hear. I am not opposed to hearing your opinions on this topic. We are going to be diving into a crucial conversation today that sits at the intersection of style and responsibility, and that is sustainable fashion versus fast fashion. So let's unravel the threads of this debate and explore the impact these choices actually not only have on workers but also on our planet, because it goes deeper than just, you know, the workers. It actually goes back to our planet and the planet that you are currently living on, okay? It affects you too. My personal story with sustainable fashion, you guys know I sew. I am a very conscious consumer. I feel like back in the day I did used to create hauls and things of that sort, but I've always been somebody who sews, like always been somebody who is like very attention to detail. Just like I feel like as I've gotten older, I've become a more conscious consumer. I've always been a thrifter, so sustainability has always played a part in my life. It's always been something that I've been a part of. I just feel like thrifting is like, we're gonna dive deeper into it, like saving clothes from just getting thrown in the landfills. It's a part of recycling. You guys know I style. I like to re-wear things over and over and over again, get as much wear out of the pieces that I do purchase before I just throw them away or get rid of them. I try to make the most out of my pieces, and I try to really like just cherish what I have. As I gotten older, I stopped caring about, oh, I've wore this on Instagram already. Like, who came up with that? Like, that you can't wear something again online because people have already seen it. Like, I'm the person like, no, you probably have seen this shirt in my last video, but I'm gonna wear it again. You're gonna see it again. Like, I don't care. Like, because in real life, like, I'm wearing these pieces over and over again. So why would I be like, oh no, I can't wear that on Instagram. I have to go buy something else. Like, who is really, like, that is just ridiculous, and it plays a part in the whole sustainable versus fast fashion world. So we're gonna dive deep. I really want to make this, like I said, a series on my channel and talk about it more, because I feel like as an influencer I have a responsibility, and this is just something that I'm very passionate about, is sustainable fashion, and I want to make that aware, and I want to find my tribe who is just as passionate about this topic as well. So yeah, first up, sustainable fashion. What is it? Who is she? Okay, this is the conscious choice for those who believe in style with a purpose. Okay, from eco-friendly fabrics to ethical labor practices, even how fashion can like affect your health as well. It's basically just a step toward a greener wardrobe. Okay, and what do I mean by a greener wardrobe? A more conscious wardrobe, things that are, like I said, great for your health, because I don't think even people realize, which is another conversation that I want to talk about, how certain fabrics that you're wearing can actually, the stuff that's going up against your skin can actually affect your health as well. So I'm not somebody who's like super like, all my fabrics are just perfect in my wardrobe. It's something that I'm consciously working toward, you know, pulling polyester out of my wardrobe, like, which is gonna be hard. It's harder, but as I, you know, continue on this journey of sustainable fashion, like just making myself more aware when I'm shopping different fabrics, like I said, that all plays back into things up against your skin. Maybe you're breaking out, or you know, just the fabrics that you're wearing, it can definitely play a part on your health as well. And I don't think a lot of us even realize it, because we're like, oh, it's just fashion, whatever, who cares? But I absolutely love brands who embrace this movement, the sustainable movement, even outside of fashion, other brands who are just embracing conscious consuming, and they focus on longevity, personal style, and creating pieces that stand the test of time, and combating against the throwaway culture, like, oh, whatever, I can just get something else tomorrow, like whatever, I just bought this, I wore it once, on to the next, you know. I really love people who are reducing their consumption, only buying like forever pieces in your wardrobe, creating very like cohesive closets that actually fit back to you and not just going based off of what's trending at the moment. So that all plays a part in like knowing your personal style, knowing yourself, knowing who you are, knowing your body type, knowing what looks best on you. A lot of people don't understand that the fashion industry is the second most polluting, behind the oil industry. It's the second most polluting on the planet. Like, the fashion industry is the second one behind oil, which is really bad. So it really plays an impact on our planet. And if you actually watch, I don't know if you have ever seen it, but it's actually on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix, but I watched this years ago, the documentary called The True Cost. It's very, very eye-opening. You'll get to really see the behind the scenes of sustainable fashion, the problems that it plays on the planet, our environment, how you'll get to see like the big landfills of like clothes just based off of people buying and not buying to, you know, just over consuming. It's really, really disheartening. It's really, really disheartening, and that's why I feel like it's so important to make people aware. Like, even if you're not aware, even if you're, because I think a lot of people aren't really aware of the how it plays back onto the environment. So definitely I would recommend watching The True Cost if you're just like interested in learning more and like just you know getting more insight on sustainable fashion and how it plays a part on the environment. I feel like the fashion culture on YouTube and on social media has really played a part in fast fashion and like over consuming, and I'm gonna get into why that is, because I understand, as me being an influencer, there are a lot of brands that are mostly fast fashion that come to you that want you to promote their clothes. So a lot of the times, like if you're a business and you're, you know, helping these brands market, you're most likely going to be pushing fast fashion versus, you know, sustainable fashion, unless you are. I feel like nowadays has become kind of a trend, and a lot of people are becoming more aware and are committing to quitting fast fashion. So we have seen more people actually promoting sustainable brands. Like you might see companies like thredUP, people promoting Depop, Poshmark, finding independent clothing designers, which plays a part in the sustainable fashion world. So I feel like we're working toward it, but I can see how the social media world has impacted fast fashion a lot and has made it harder for influencers to kind of go down the sustainable route, because, you know, you know, hauls. That's like always been like a big thing, especially in the YouTube culture. But I will say I have been seeing a lot more now, and thanks to, you know, millennials, and really thanks to Gen Z, because there's been a really big uptick since 2020 in the sustainable, like, thrifting, upcycling world in Gen Z generation. So I do see more upcycling creators, and I want to see more upcycling creators, sewing creators, thrifting, thrift flip creators. We have them, but we can definitely use more. There are people now that are more open-minded to seeing, you know, you taking something from the thrift store and either showing how you rewear it over and over again, or you shopping from independent designers, or you taking something from the thrift store and upcycling it and sewing it into something else. So I think people are more open to seeing that now versus back in the day where we just seen a lot of hauls. So we're getting better at stepping our foot into the sustainable side, and I definitely think we have millennials, you know, and definitely Gen Z to thank for that when it comes to the internet culture of things. But I will say influencers definitely have a huge responsibility when it comes to this end, because you have influence. So you have the influence to be able to educate your audience on this topic and on these things when it comes to sustainable versus fast fashion, because a lot of it comes down to consumerism, over consuming. Okay, it really does. So that's just a little bit on what sustainable fashion is. So who is fast fashion? When I don't want to say any specific names. Who is fast fashion? Fast fashion, she's more of like the quick pace, trend driven industry that has taken the fashion world by storm. Think of like your top always emailing you, always sending you out those texts, those little quirky texts, companies, those big companies that are literally have new trends on their website literally every other day or every week. Think of that. Like, they're not like the slow handmade like fashion businesses. They are churning out new trends almost every week. A lot of them are overseas, some of them are, you know, based here in the United States, but they are very affordable. You get, you know, some $20, $5.99 even sometimes, you know, $30. It's mostly affordable fashion. Like I said, constantly evolving. It caters to what's in demand, what's in high demand for the latest trends and styles. Okay, the trendiest styles, the what's in, you know, what the people are wanting, what the people are needing. Okay, however, there's a really dark side to this. Environmental degradation, exploitative labor, okay, and a staggering amount of textile waste, which is what I talked about earlier when we were speaking of sustainable fashion. The landfills are filled with textile waste, and I'm gonna put pictures here, and it's just insane, you guys. It's insane. That's why I really love brands who like are like really buying up textiles and like they're creating a business out of like making different designs out of like the textile waste, or taking things from the thrift store. You guys, like I said, you guys know I upcycle a lot. I'm in kind of that sustainable world. I'm kind of like that sustainable conscious creator, conscious consuming creator, where I try to like really take what I have and make it into something before I just throw it out. 9 times out of 10 I won't just throw things away. I'll donate it, or I will try to sell it on places like Depop. Whatnot is now a really big sustainable platform, places like that. I also don't like the fact that you will see a lot of these fast fashion brands taking independent designers' designs and then creating like a lot of these like trends and like styles that you may see on their websites are being stolen from the small slow independent designers that are literally handcrafting these pieces. You know, they might only have a few employees, or they may be a one-person show, and because they don't have the team or the manufacturers that these bigger brands have, fast fashion brands have, they instantly are just snubbed of their designs that they thought and worked so hard on by these bigger fast fashion brands that, you know, can churn out that style or trend for the demand that people want it for, or they may see it from the independent designer or see the trend circling around on socials. And then instead of people buying from the smaller person that doesn't really have as much, like I said, of a team to churn that item out fast, they'll go buy it from the knockoff, the, you know, the fast fashion brand that can just get that out in different quantities, sizes, and things of that sort. So it's kind of messed up. That's really one of the dark sides of fast fashions as well. You will notice that. But so that's a little bit about fast fashion. I do want to talk about the environmental impact. So let's talk numbers. The sustainable industry is worth over, and I have my notes, is worth over 6.5 billion. It's probably more now because we're in, I think I kind of researched this a couple months ago, or last year maybe. Yeah, it says one is expected to grow to 10 billion by 2025, which we're in now, and by 2030 that number is expected to hit 15 billion. So that is how much the sustainable industry is worth right now. So if you're looking to actually get in where you fit in as far as business wise in this industry, I recommend you get started now. They said products marketed as sustainable are expected to grow 5.6 times faster than those that are not. Okay, and I feel like I said, the awareness has been there. It's been being put out more. As I said earlier, Gen Z, we have seen an uptick on them making sure that they are shopping on places like Depop, Poshmark. Whatnot is going crazy right now. If you haven't heard of the Whatnot app, I'm gonna make a whole separate different video on Whatnot because it's crazy. It's a live shopping social app, but definitely there's a huge tick over there for vintage and like reselling fashion, thrifted reselling fashion, like I was saying. So you will see a lot of that over there. But fast fashion retailers reported a 46% drop in sales since 2020, with millennials leading the sustainable market. Probably now Gen Z, but millennial, yes, are definitely leading. While fashion advertises to more younger audiences, influencer led this. So you know, a lot of influencers are kind of responsible for the rise, I would like to say, because like I said, people have been kind of quietly quitting fast fashion in the, you know, social media world. So we have seen, you know, we've been trying to do better, me myself included. It says women under 35 are the target demographic, and Gen Z is leaning into ethical fashion, okay, which I think now, that was like last year, but now Gen Z has definitely, we've seen a huge uptick. They have been really leaning more toward sustainable thrifted fashion, which I love. Like I said, I love companies like thredUP. They're a big like tech company in the thrift world. It's a online thrift kind of like shop store, and it's just amazing. You guys know I have my own sustainable vintage clothing boutique, e-commerce boutique, Timeless Takara, which I'm trying to get back into. That's why I said I mentioned I'm going to talk about the Whatnot app in another video. We will discuss it if you're not familiar with it. But yeah, we've been seeing overpriced clothing, and bad quality clothing has decreased because, you know, they're trying to keep up with the trends. People like Shein, Fashion Nova. There's definitely been a decrease. If you are a creator, I know it will be kind of hard to go full-blown sustainable because, like I said, this is a business, so it's kind of hard to just go full-blown. But there are ways to add more ethical and sustainable fashion into your content and into your lifestyle as well, because it's also trickling down into the beauty world and even in like other industries. I think sustainability has just been a thing that has been, you know, I think a lot of companies, a lot of businesses are really trying to integrate that into their brands. The affordability of it alone makes it harder, especially in this economy. So I can understand how someone would be like, how does anybody expect me to shop sustainable, to pay, you know, $60 or $55 or something for a piece that is more ethical, and especially in this industry. Totally understand. It definitely makes it a lot harder to be more sustainable, but that's why I said there's other places like thrifting, upcycling, things of that sort. Finding vintage online boutiques, checking out things like Whatnot, Poshmark, Depop, independent designers that are more affordable, that are like, you know, or that you can, you know, invest into and keep the peace for a long time. But it's really about the awareness and resisting the urge to overconsume and just being a more mindful consumer. That's really all it's about. You know, really educating your audience on that plays a huge part. Things that you can do is don't just buy and throw away the next day or the next week or the next month. Wearing things over and over again, learning, like following creators that show you how to restyle and wear things over and over again. Sewing or learning how to sew, taking up that skill so that way you can, if you get a hole in your shirt, you can mend it on your own. Or you can go to a tailor, find a really, you know, a tailor or somebody close to you that can help you do that. Learning about secondhand and like conscious consuming, conscious clothing. Like I said, I do love how we are seeing more brands like invest into sustainable creators, and I would love to see more. Okay, I would love to see more. I've never really been one to like super cheap products unless I'm getting them from the thrift store. So 9 times out of 10, I'm looking inside the labels to look at like the fabrics and the quality of the clothing. I'm all for quality. I think quality is amazing, but I think quality is also getting worse as things rise, you know, in fast fashion. And I love how people are living a less wasteful lifestyle. So it's definitely something to think about. Definitely want to hear your guys' opinions on this topic down below. Hopefully this video educated you, gave you some type of insight on the difference between sustainable fashion and fast fashion, and it helped you out a little bit. We can discuss the topic down below. I may do a part 2. Definitely want to do like a series on this, or just talk about it more on my channel, make people more aware. Even the shirt I have on right now is literally an upcycled shirt out of it's literally a cropped shirt out of an old men's button-down shirt that I got from the thrift store. But yeah, upcycled it, and now it's just something cute and cool for me to have in my wardrobe. Probably gonna be getting rid of this on Thomas Takar as well, and it comes with like a cute little skirt that I upcycled. So but yeah, that's all for now. That is all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to drop a comment, subscribe, because it is free 99. And until the next video, I love you guys, and I will see you at the top. Peace.